Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the inventor of the CTKS method and Borsog trading. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. We can see that Bitcoin is currently down 1.22% to 16,491. Ethereum is down 2.32% to 1184. The US market didn't do that well in the past trading session, except for Tesla. What's happening with Tesla? We actually covered this in yesterday's video. I'll show you. Yesterday, we went through the CTKS Method Standards Certification markup of Tesla, and we said there's a very nice support level, a smart money buy level at 104.71. At that time, Tesla was coming down and down and down, and people were just assuming Tesla's going to go through the floor. Not quite so, because these smart money buy levels act as safety nets. And that's what we saw. The buyers were piling in around the 104.71 mark, so much so that it didn't actually reach that level. This is why it's incredibly important to know market structure, and we know market structure through ODMS, Objective Dynamic Market Structure. And that's all part of the CTKS Method Standards Certification Level 1 and Level 2 process. Masterclass students, Level 1 and Level 2 certification from ctksmethod.org are included in the LV section of the Masterclass, free of charge. But there's so many people that cannot afford the Masterclass, so they're split out and broken out here on ctksmethod.org. My goal behind what I do each and every day is to help you to become self-sufficient, to be able to mark up the charts yourself. If you want to rely on the CTKS method service, of course, that is fine as well. But the concept is you must be able to put in the hard work to mark up these charts through Level 1 and Level 2 certification. You'll find it can take some time to mark up charts like we did for Tesla. And you can see Tesla is one of the ones included in the CTKS method service. If you'd like to express your interest in the CTKS method service, just simply pop your name, your email, and then just press this button. That locks in the institutional grade level analysis of the CTKS method service at a very, very low price, and that price will never ever increase as long as you keep your membership active. This is a pre-release bargain. The service has not become active yet. Understanding is a key thing that we're going to discuss in this particular video. Understanding how the markets intercorrelate and interconnect is incredibly important. And understanding Objective Dynamic Market Structure, or ODMS, only available through the CTKS method, actually helps you to get rid of anxiety. You know that we lost support back up here around the 175 level, and then it was pretty much a straight shot down to the next strong smart money buy level. We had a slight slowing here at the 130, but the stronger slowing did occur around the 105 level. That is exactly what we anticipated to happen. A lot of people are freaked out about the headlines in the news at the moment. They're all doom and gloom, but why is that? Because headlines just reflect current price action. The more it's red, the more red the headlines get. The more green the headlines get. It's as simple as that. It's always important to just understand how the news works. This is a facet of the understanding diamond. Now that we understand, the news headlines just waver around depending on what the market is doing. The market goes down, red news headlines. Market goes up, green news headlines. Market goes sideways. The headlines can't make up their mind which way they're going either. This is all part of understanding. When applying CTKS Method Standard Certification across the SPX, the S&P 500, any particular price action that doesn't go below this 37.66 is incredibly positive. All price moves in a wave. You should never be concerned about price coming down, because price is always going up, coming down, always going up, coming down, going up, coming down, going up, coming down. That's another key understanding to always have. Even if we drop down a little bit lower to between 36.26 to 37.22, that's all absolutely fine as well. It's not as positive if it stays above this particular green area lower limit of 37.66, but it's still okay. There's another critical piece of understanding that you need to trade or invest profitably inside every market. That is the understanding. You don't need certainty. You need a strategy to profit from uncertainty. And where does that strategy initially start? It starts with your CTKS code. What is the market currently doing? Well, it's going down. What do we anticipate the market doing in 24 hours time? There's a thing called the fishbowl concept, and that's important to understand too. If the market came down, people just automatically assume that the next day it's going to go down as well. And if the market is going up, the next day the market will go up as well. Markets are not so predictable. They're not like that. The key to understanding this daily three-dimensional risk management code is to understand the market is always allocating funds from the desynchronized to the synchronized. You must do everything you possibly can to get synchronized. And what does that actually mean? The Midas touch is a very good illustration of being synchronized in with the market. The problem is that people move from being synchronized into being desynchronized. And this is always the case. If you're feeling desynchronized, don't worry about it at all. That is the concept. It just means that you need to dig a little bit harder to understand the interrelationships between financial variables. And there's so many of them. And we discuss it extensively inside the masterclass. Inside the masterclass, we do deep dives underneath all of these financial charts, and that's covered in TM6. The first thing that we look at is the fear gauge of the market, the VIX. The VIX typically has an inverse relationship with market indices. As the VIX comes up, the market indices go down, and vice versa. We can see Bitcoin hovering around in the background. Due to the FTX saga, crypto sold off traumatically. And these traumatic sell-offs can just throw a spanner in the network of financial associations. So you must be aware of that. That's another key to your understanding. We've been saying for a while now that there looks to be a change in the VIX. We saw a higher low here, and there's a shift of trend here. So it's possible that the VIX is going to spike upwards. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely a possibility. And we don't need certainty, we just need a strategy to deal with uncertainty. And we can see that the markets have been coming down. What about bond prices? They've been coming down as bond yields are starting to soar. And what is all this about? It's about the concept that the Fed looks to be raising interest rates in the future, and we would expect the dollar to actually break through this resistance, which it looks like it's actually doing right now, and to start to recover, to start to come up. If we see a spike in the DXY, a spike in the VIX, we could be witnessing the start of a pretty major sell-off. But don't get scared about these things. They're just probabilities to stack. There's a lot of geopolitical tension in the world, as well as a lot of demand for gold. And when we look at gold's price, we can see that that is increasing at a decreasing rate. The sellers are just basically trying to push gold down at the present time. What thing we notice particularly is that junk bonds have been just bottoming. They cratered out. That's a sign that we want to pay attention to. Why is it a sign? Because it's a risk-on metric. If junk bonds increases, we're seeing that the market will probably increase with it as risk appetite increases. Junk bonds have decreased recently. It doesn't mean it's going to collapse down, but it's certainly a sign that risk on has come out of the market in the past couple of sessions, just dating back to approximately the 14th of December. What I mean about the past couple of sessions, this big dive off here in junk bonds, this yellow line, and we can see the similar kind of activity inside the major indices. Again, this is all part of understanding. And if you want to do deep dives in this, or you're in the masterclass and you want a refresher, go and have a look at TM6. There was a very interesting question. Can the CTKS method be applied to the VIX? Absolutely. It can be applied to any asset class, any financial chart. So that's a big yes. Let's have a look at the DXY and look at the ODMS, the Objective Dynamic Market Structure inside the DXY. What we actually see, there's been a lot of support for the DXY just recently. The DXY is currently 104,501. The next smart money sell level or resistance level where the sellers will come in and try and push the price down is 104,790. And the DXY is just a little bit of a different animal. It's a basket of currencies. But the truth is, resistance and support still hold true. But it's a little bit more complex than that, and we can see a smart money buy level at the 104,392, another one, a stronger one, at the 104,1110 level. When we look at the euro versus the US dollar, we can see that there's been a very, very strong smart money buy level or support level at 106,235. And we can also see that we've just recently broken under that. You can see that it's failed this particular test at the 106,135 level. It's actually traded below that. This is actually quite significant. It means there's weakness in the euro and also strength in the DXY. You can see the price is just doing a flip back at the moment. It's just trying to retest if it can get across this 106,135 mark. It's doing its absolute best, but that is a resistance level drawn structurally from all of price history, not just recent price history. But why do we draw from all of price history? That's because we want to see the financial market in its full glory, in its natural habitat, and every asset class has its own personality. What typically happens is people don't mark up all of price history, and there's some constraints on doing that. And what actually occurs instead is people look at a specific part of the elephant. They look at the tail and say, oh, this is what the market is. They create a story about it. And this particular person looking at the foot, oh, okay, this is what the market's doing. And they create a story. And this person looks at the belly of the elephant and they create a story. And this person looks at the ear and they create a story. Hey, everybody, it's an elephant. That's it. And that's what we do with the CTKS method. You literally learn it once. You can apply it for a lifetime. And it's a revolutionary new invention. It doesn't go from recent indicative price, which I have put a little coffin here because it is RIP. You don't want to be looking at charts from RIP. You're actually missing the whole perspective of the market structure of what you're looking at. However, this is what 99.9% of people do. And they were doing that for Tesla. The CTKS method looks at market structure and it doesn't get into story-based analysis. We use structural levels called Stanfield levels. And you can see these Stanfield levels just in here. That's what the SL means. This is dynamic market structure. You just look at those levels and they will change throughout time. That's where the dynamic part comes in. If we go back to Tesla and we don't have the dynamic market structure occurring, the key is, where is the smart money coming in to buy or to sell? You would have to create stories. Scientists do not do stories. We do mathematical analysis of the actual market, and that's why we come up with these different levels. But it's not hardcore mathematics. I've created it in such a way that anybody can learn it. The understanding of financial markets, you need to look across everything you can possibly look at to get a synchronization in with the market. And that means looking at things like Tesla and Apple. If we were to look at gold, and gold is important to keep our eye on, but you do it without SLs, you do it without objective dynamic market structure, you would be creating stories from a couple of weeks of price action, probably at the most. It becomes a very different thing when you can see the actual market structure. This market structure is dynamic and it's objective as well. It's not subjective, it's objective. And you can see just how well it's been obeyed. Gold is currently 1812, but it tried to get through these smart money resistance levels, and look what happened. It did for a little bit of time, but it got squished back down again, and then it lost a lot of support, a level of support at here. We've seen the buyers come in and defend the 1803.40 level, but what is going to happen? By the look of this particular chart, gold is trying to attack the 1819.40 level just currently. And Masterclass students, using the EC method, you can see this very clearly. We look at the stock market first because no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. But hang on a sec, what has Bitcoin got to do with the stock market? And this is where understanding comes in. Bitcoin's gravity is impacted by the stock market. So if you don't look at the stock market, you probably have very little clue as to what's going to happen with Bitcoin. If you don't know what could happen with Bitcoin, the alts will bleed. As a result, they could bleed up or bleed down. Generally, bleeding down is what we talk about when we say alts bleed. But the concept is you have to have a three-phase, at least a three-phase process when it comes to looking at your beloved alts. At least three. The first phase is the market, the second phase is Bitcoin, and the third phase is your beloved alt. Typically what happens is people just look at their alts and they say, I'm just trading the chart in front of me. That's a big mistake. I'll give you an illustration of this. This blue line, it's a little bit hard to see, but that's the NASDAQ. Hey, why don't I make it a bit brighter? Alrighty then, that's a little bit better. You can see this directional correlation between the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. A lot of people keep on saying, oh, Bitcoin is decorrelated from the stock market. I wish they'd stop saying that. It's never true. It's not been true. And it never will be true. And it doesn't really matter what we think. Even the bond market, which is much bigger than the stock market, it's also correlated. So just bear this in mind. Crypto is a really tiny industry at the moment, but it will become huge over time. But even so, it remains directionally correlated with the major indices, and this is something that a lot of people unfortunately don't understand. If you were keeping your eye on the major indices, that would be part of your understanding as to where Bitcoin is going. And why do you care? Because as Bitcoin goes, so too do 99% of the alts. About 1% escape Bitcoin's gravity momentarily. Not for a long period of time, just momentarily. And then they'll come back into gravitational alignment. We look at it all the time on our channel. The options market has some really interesting things in store for Bitcoin. We're still expecting $2.35 billion worth of options to expire on the 30th of December at a max paying price of $18,500. If that comes true, given the max paying levels underneath Bitcoin's price momentum at the moment, we could be expecting something like this. If that occurs, and we know these things move all over the place every single day, but it's quite a nice signpost. Looking at the greatest gainers over the past 24 hours, ICP, followed by HOT, FEI, Tron, XMR, USDP, and USDD. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, Lunacy, Chain yet again, poor old Chain, Solana, APT, TON, Flow, and Trust Wallet. Previously, I said the understanding that no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity is really important, because as Bitcoin comes down, so too do the alts. And we can see that very clearly with Ethereum. This is Bitcoin's price momentum. This is actually what happened to ETH. You can see how closely ETH and Bitcoin follow each other. These are stable coins, Tether, Circle, and Binance Coin up here. BNB just coming into alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. It can go out of alignment, but it will come back into alignment. That is just guaranteed. That's just how the markets work. XRP coming back into alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. Doge back into alignment as well. We can see that ADA is moving in accordance with Bitcoin's gravity. What about Matic? Yes, moving in alignment. DAI is a stable coin. What about Polkadot? Yes, moving in alignment. What's happening with Tron? Tron is moving in alignment, but starting to invert and starting to sort of wobble around. It quite doesn't know where it's going, but it's quite interesting as well. Keep your eye on Tron. Litecoin did incredibly well, but no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, and that is what that means. And we can see SHIB following in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity, Solana as well. I think this key piece of understanding can basically save people a lot of stress. If you're just looking at your beloved cryptos and not paying attention to Bitcoin, you're making a big mistake in terms of your understanding of how the crypto market actually works. Just giving you a few more examples, we can see Uni coming in back into alignment with Bitcoin's gravity, AVAX back into alignment, Link back into alignment. Atom is actually looking really interesting, like an inverter. Keep your eye on Atom. What's about Ethereum Classic coming back into alignment? Bitcoin Cash coming back into alignment. XLM back into alignment. And what about Quant? Quant did so very, very well and back into alignment. I hope this has proven to you that you need the understanding of what Bitcoin is doing. And to get that, you need the understanding of what the stock market is doing as well. Just keep this picture in your mind. This is the NASDAQ. Look at the NASDAQ, compare it to Bitcoin. They're very, very similar. You must pay attention to the stock market. There's a very, very important understanding that you require when it comes to personality. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, people are in entitlement, conflict, and jealousy. This is a severe negative thought process area. And severe negative thought processes actually cost you money inside financial markets. This very understanding can save a lot of people a lot of money. If you're inherently negative about what you're doing financially, that's a sign that you're inside Zone 1 and Zone 2. All professionals go through Zone 1 and Zone 2, so it's not necessarily a bad thing to be here, but you just don't want to stay there. Zone 1 and Zone 2 are the non-understanding zones. They're low knowledge zones. And one very, very important thing to consider, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you find yourself being negative, criticizing, putting other people down, just having a go at other people, this squarely puts you, unfortunately, inside Zone 1 and Zone 2. That's where you not only lose money in financial markets, but in the real world, you lose personal relationships. Being inside Zone 1 and Zone 2 is like living on broken glass and barbed wire. You can do a really quick test right now. For example, if you saw somebody and they're doing well, do you get jealousy? Do you feel very negative, even hostile against that person? If you're going through those feelings, they are Zone 1 and Zone 2 feelings. You want to escape those feelings as quickly as possible. They will destroy your life. They won't destroy the other person's life, but they will destroy your own. Take another example. If you see someone show up in a very nice car, do you want to take your key and scratch all along the outside of that car, damaging that car? That is Zone 1 and Zone 2 behavior. The key inside Zone 1 and Zone 2, it's highly, highly negative in terms of a thought process. And that's what we call poor thinking. It's not about money. It's about a poverty mindset where scarcity and the win-lose scenario just reigns, and it reigns over your parade if you're there. And don't forget, everybody goes through Zone 1 and Zone 2. So being there is not necessarily an issue, but getting out of there is. A lot of people are caught inside Zone 1 and Zone 2 unknowingly. They don't even know. That negativity that people give out is just honesty. It's just honest feedback. Yes, you look fat in that dress, for example. Well, that's not very nice. The critical question is not the behaviors inside Zone 1 and Zone 2, because we all go through those. That's just kind of normal for growing up and maturing in this world. The real question is, how do you get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2? One way to do so is to use that negative emotion to fuel you. And what do I mean by that? If you see a person driving a car that you really, really want, and you want to grab your key and go and scratch the side of the car because you just hate that person has won that car and you've lost that car. Hang on a second. That doesn't make sense, does it? But it's exactly how people think inside Zone 1 and Zone 2. For them to win, somebody must lose. They must lose. How does that work in this world? There's abundance in this world. Nobody has to lose anything. You can both win. How do we turn it into fuel? Go and ask that person, hey, I love your car. What do you do for a job? How did you get that? How do you think about things? As part of the CTKS Creed, we say, all results come from the mind. A better mind creates better outcomes. If you're reaching out and being really, really honest and sharing your negativity amongst others, just have a look why you're doing that. Why can't you support others? For example, a lot of people look at a negative attitude and they say, oh, that's just me. If that's just me is sitting inside zone 1 and zone 2, and generally it is with those kind of attitudes, and this is not a politically correct thing to say, but hey, I'm too old to care about political correctness. What I care about is people actually making a success out of their lives, and your own behavior can be hidden to you. If you see another person succeeding, just ask what they're doing, and more particularly how they're thinking. The rich think differently than the poor, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about rich thinking. But wealthy thinking is the ultimate. It bypasses poor thinking and rich thinking. And it's not about money. A lot of people say, oh, if you're poor, you have poor thinking. Not necessarily. You can have wealthy thinking if you're poor. Financial abundance is something completely different when it comes to thought processes. Understanding what kind of thinking that you have will directly influence the returns that you can make inside any financial market, but also the returns from life. The next time you want to get upset at someone, don't. Don't get upset at someone. Say, no, I'm not going into zone 1 and zone 2. I'm not going to live on broken glass, eggshells, and barbed wire. I want to have a better life. And as we head towards New Year's Eve, it's the time for New Year's resolutions. Positive excellence is how we live as a community. And to understand this, when people actually do really, really well in life, if they've got a good relationship, they've created the foundations of a good relationship through positive excellence. If they're very wealthy people, if they're abundant, they've created that abundance through positive excellence if they're keeping their money. Sometimes people create financial abundance very, very short term, and then they lose it all. They're continually making it, losing it, making it, losing it, making it, losing it, until they make positive excellence their focus. It's taken so many years to figure these things out, and I share them with you each and every day because they're so important. I want you to have a beautiful life. Instead of jealousy, in zone 4, we have respect. We respect the fact that that person probably worked incredibly hard to get what they had or what they have. We don't get jealous because we've got persistence and commitment. But more importantly, we have kindness. If you feel that you're reaching out to interact with other people in an unkind manner, you're doing only yourself a disservice. Kindness is actually a superpower. It doesn't mean that you're weak. Only the strong can be kind. It takes nothing to act from an unkind position. In fact, you can see a little baby. Babies act unkindly all the time. If that baby wants a toy from another baby, it's just going to take it. This, I believe, is perhaps the most important thing to understand. When you come from a position of positive excellence, you make your own world better first, and then just by default, you make everybody else's life around you better. In the comments from yesterday's video, there were so many fantastic comments. Crypto Turtle said, from Ken's positive excellence chart, I am teaching my nephews how to be kind to each other and to others and tell them that they are not entitled for everything. If they want a new toy, they have to earn points for helping their mothers clean up their own room, tidy up the toys, and be good boys, no swearing and sharing their toys. If they are naughty, they get points deducted. It's almost like a game, but their goals are new toys. Oh, very good, Crypto Turtle. Crypto Turtle also says, positive excellence should be in every school system. I agree, my friend. Positive excellence is so critically important. It's just because we don't know about Zone 1 and Zone 2 for so many years, it's hard to get out of there unless somebody defines it and the path to escape it. And TSP says, I agree with you, Crypto Turtle. I constantly tell my kids to be nice, to be kind, to be helpful, and to be grateful for what they have, and above all, to be happy. Very nice, TSP. And Crypto Badger said, positive excellence in schools would be a huge benefit for society and the generations to come. Can you imagine if we were taught this in school, taught how to take emotional control, taught how to be courageous yet kind, to put boundaries in, to seek inner and outer peace? This world would be a very, very different place. To Tiana, thank you for your very kind words, my friend, and I'm so grateful and happy that you're actually getting better at synchronizing in with the market. Well done. I really love what Ivan said. We are all legends. Yes, you are. Everybody inside our community is a legend. High five to all the legends. Thank you to Neil Gunn for the CTKS chart servers. Can you please add in natural gas? Absolutely, my friend. And over time, we'll be adding in pretty much everything. Please keep your comments coming as to what you would like to see marked up with the CTKS method. Thank you, my friend. When we think about positive excellence, it's kindness with boundaries, with courage and honor and strength. And Crypto Badger said, boundaries are very important to set because some people have bad intentions or just use others for their benefit. Unfortunately, this is correct. Those people will seek to take and take and take until they can't get any more. They feel entitled, Zone 1, and show little appreciation or regard for your efforts. This is the major way to spot people inside Zone 1, the entitled zone. You can bend over backwards, you can do everything you possibly can for them, and they'll say, more, not good enough, give me more. What you actually say to those people is, that's the door, use it. Crypto Badger goes on to say, we judge a tree by its fruits. A good tree bears good fruit. A bad tree bears bad fruit. It is the same with people. You do not want to give your pearls to people who will not see the value in them. They will trample on them whilst others would cherish and appreciate them. It's a really good point, Crypto Badger. And this is a thing that you can actually use to decide who is your good friend and who is a friend that you keep at arm's length. Good friends see the real you and they don't take advantage of you. And bad friends, those friends that you want to keep at arm's length or just don't have them at all, is quite preferable. They will try to use you. Anybody who tries to use you is an inappropriate person to have inside your life. And this is exactly what Badger is saying, and it's a really good thing to share. When it comes to New Year's resolutions, to get healthy, to be positive, you have to get rid of negative people as well. And of course, that's completely your choice. If you want to hang around with negative people, go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Just do what you feel comfortable with life. But if you want to get into Zone 4, toxic people have no place there. Oscar had an absolutely brilliant quote from yesterday. Helping another out of Zone 1 and Zone 2 requires for that person to see their situation as being in Zone 1 and Zone 2 first. For this, they have to stop being identified with the associated negative emotions and realize that there's another way to feel about and look at the situation. A reframing, a shift in their perspective is required. Just brilliant, Oscar. Oscar has a lot of really good ways to help people to get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2. And a lot of the Zone 1 and Zone 2 behaviors, that negativity, comes from angry memories. Memories about the past where injustices were done. Everybody has some degree of injustice done to them, one way or another. Some injustices are so horrible, there's no question about them. And some of them are just manufactured by our minds. Oscar talks about the frame getting cracked and emotional reframing. This is a really good thing to actually look at. And Oscar's concept is help Zone 1 and Zone 2 people see their situation in a different emotional light, a non-negative one, a more positive emotional state. You can think about it this way. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, people want, in fact, they demand success, but they actually repel success because of their negativity. You cannot have a positive life with a negative mental outlook. And if you're having a positive life with a negative mental outlook, that's just a fraction of what you could have with a positive mental outlook. Kacharia said, I'm handling difficult situations better than before. Well done, my friend. That's just beautiful. Sinman said, a very good thing. When it comes to somebody who criticizes you or speaks negatively to you, Sinman has some advice. Realizing that nothing others say or do is because of you, it's because of their perception of their own reality, is a very effective boundary. Thanks for sharing, my friend. Grubbiz really captured the essence and spirit of our community, our global family. Together we make the world a more loving and better place, and we definitely do. And thank you everybody for being here and sharing this time together. Thank you to Rajat for your very kind and considerate comment. I think money and wealth, or anything else for that matter, can be kept or retained when it is earned through learning and received with humility. Gradual evolution, rather than a drastic revolution, plays an important part too. Overnight millionaires, lottery winners, gamblers generally lose their wealth as easily as they gain it. Definitely. Easy come. ... You know the answer. Rundle Ridge spoke about boundaries. To be effective with boundary setting, you must be able to listen to the other person, even though they package it probably in an entitled and antagonistic or jealous way. But there's always a line that you must draw, and Rundle Ridge said, if the other person cannot have these qualities, then I limit my time with them. Respect is a very key aspect of boundaries. When people don't respect you, they will not respect your boundaries either. A very important understanding in life is the role of inner peace and outer peace. A lot of people inside Zone 1 and Zone 2 say, well, inner peace and outer peace, isn't that a hippie thing or something? As Brett says very adroitly, outer peace comes from having strong inner peace, strong boundaries, and really not engaging with every idiot that tries to knock you off your peg. That's a good one, Brett. Inner peace comes from appreciation, deep gratitude, and breathing. Breathing is essential for relaxing stress and tension within the body. Good food, regular exercise, and good quality sleep. But breathing is the go-to fix. And Brett does a superb job here. I think a lack of disturbance in my mind shall afford me more time, energy, and kindness, and I intend to be more productive with the time, focus more on learning the markets. With the energy and my kindness, I intend to be more loving to myself and others, and be more courageous with my trades. It's really beautiful, Brett. And I think another thing to just bear in mind, if you're not engaging with other people's acidity, with their negativity, with their jealousy, with their entitlement, you have so much time to actually do something with your life to progress in a positive direction. This is why it's so important to have positive friends. Gaining Zone 4 friends is like finding eagles, but we are a community of eagles. And that's why Al always has his baby eagles in his comments, because that's what we represent. Eagles don't flock. And talking about Al, these are the eagles. Al loves his eagles. And Kate was very appreciative of your kind comments when she said hello. The understanding of Zone 1 and Zone 2 can be an absolute life-changing experience. And don't forget, we all go through Zone 1 and Zone 2 at some stage in our lives. And it's quite easy to slip back into those zones if we don't be careful. Johnny said, a great lesson about boundaries today. A kind person will not get upset with you if you place a boundary in front of them. Why is that? It's because they respect you. They respect you as a person. And the personal relationship is way more important than whatever the boundary is. And you'll never have to set a boundary in front of Zone 4 people. And why is that? Because Zone 4 people have already got their own boundaries. They know what is right and they know what is wrong, and that wouldn't even enter their mind to do something wrong by others. Johnny says, if people get upset when you actually put a boundary in, that means that the person is identifying currently with zone 1 and zone 2, and their zones are really bad. There's broken glass, barbed wire, eggshells all over the place. It's a terrible place to live. And if people know that they're there, they can do something about it, as Oscar was saying before. Setting a boundary is incredibly important for zone 1 and zone 2 people. And your boundaries must be firm. You must say what you mean and be prepared to follow it through no matter what. Jay was talking about authenticity, and Jay said, there are times I choose to be inauthentic in order to keep the peace or try not to ruffle anybody's feathers. I was raised to avoid conflicts, and this is one side of my lifelong tactics, but it's becoming clear that this is at the expense of living more fully. It's really interesting, Jay, that a lot of people inside Zone 1 and Zone 2 are so nasty when it comes to their authenticity. They will just tell people off and they say, well, at least I'm honest. No, you're not honest. You're just paying out on other people. Authenticity is something else in Zone 4. Zone 4 authenticity always has kindness, inner and outer peace as its basis, not conflict. Authenticity is about taking your own path, no matter what other people say about it. If you know what's right for you, take it. And in your quest for authenticity, know that it will just come. Just be you. Don't put on a front to other people. You should be the same behind closed doors as you are in front of them. That's what authenticity is actually about. It's about integrity. You're not one person in one situation, you're one person in all situations. This video has been very focused on the concept of understanding the connections between financial variables, understanding the cascading and analytical process that we must first look at the markets, then look at Bitcoin, and then look at the alts. Understanding is a key component in life. When you actually look at anything in life, what you understand is what you can implement. I would love to hear your thoughts on understanding and how it's improved your own lives. And of course, if you have anything to share about how people can get out of Zone 1 and Zone 2, especially jealousy, that would be really good to share as well. We're all heading towards a brand new year. In that brand new year, we can be anyone we want to be. Let's live from positive excellence, because that is the key to sustainable fulfillment, meaning, happiness, and success. It is the place to be, and so few people are there. Part of the CTKS method is the CTKS Creed, which primes our mind for profitability and happiness in life. These are a series of positive affirmation statements you just say to yourself. They're important because they get rid of fear and install courage. Acting on fear creates the fear. We don't want to do that. We need to act with courage, but also knowledge. Here is the creed. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with Borsog. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. And I never let a problem beat me, because I solve it with positive excellence. If you have family or friends who could benefit from positive excellence and what we do here each and every day, please introduce them to our community by sharing a video. We'd love to see them here. We have one of the best communities on YouTube. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you tomorrow. Bye for now.